Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Jim Cirillo. Jim is the founder of JIMIUM Group and the host of JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Jim Cirillo. Jim, welcome.
Siddique, hey, good morning, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much, Jim. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to start a JIMIUM Group and eventually the podcast too?
Wow. Okay, well, real quick, it's been a long journey to get here, but real quick, I started out in advanced engineering, doing advanced technology development in the fiber optic world in the automotive industry. And then I after a few years there, I pivoted. I wanted to get into even higher technology that was moving faster. That's kind of my vibe where I'm at. And so I got into the telecom world of using glass fiber optics versus plastic optical fiber for automotive. And I moved to New England. So I was in New England for a few years. 9/11 happened. I ended up moving back and to Ohio, where I'm at now. And worked for a couple other businesses, but around 2006, I was kind of fed up with my frustrations of I wanted to continue learning about technologies and move faster and whatever. So I ended up quitting my last job around 2006 and somehow lucked into consulting. So that's how I founded JIMIUM Group. So someone called me out of the blue one day, and I wasn't ready to take a new job, but they wanted, my skill set really quickly. And so I figured out somehow, well, let me just consult for a few hours a week. And that's how JIMIUM Group was founded initially. So it's kind of a funny story. But since then, I've been consulting and, doing project management, engineering consulting. And now I've been pivoting to more entrepreneurship consulting, innovation consulting, and innovation investing consulting. So that's kind of my three things I'm concentrating on now. And about a few years ago, I started JimJim's Reinvention Revolution podcast because I see sort of like for the arc of my life, like we were talking earlier, things are changing so much now that I feel that we need to reinvent ourselves continually now to kind of stay relevant and to stay ahead of the curve with technology as the world is being reinvented right before our eyes, it seems, with blockchain technology and social media and interacting online like we're interacting online with through podcasts and all the different media outlets. I mean, it's just been an amazing ride so far. So that's where I'm at. And my home base is Ohio, but I travel the world now to try to stay informed and host different people on the podcast.
That's an amazing transformational story, from engineering, talking to like the almost like R&D work.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Nobody knew who the Jim is.
And now, that's right. Not back then.
Yeah. It's a complete 180 angle transformation. How that happened?
Well, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I just knew I wanted to learn more about technology, and along the way, I think it was really what informed me a lot was when I moved to New England. I took this new job. I was really excited about it, and it was with optical technologies. And what we were developing was this company was like a leader at this time, developing dual-clad fiber structures for fiber lasers. So the fiber laser was being developed. I know this is nerdy stuff that people don't understand, but it was really cool, the heart of technology. And at that job, the key guy there, the VP of technology that I really respected, that I connected with the most, one day he got walked out, like fired on a Friday. And I was just like, I was stunned.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And it turned into this crazy dysfunctional venture capital world of, people trying to grab people for competitors and start companies on the sides and all this stuff. Anyways, it was so chaotic, I quit my job. And that was really probably the start, looking back now, of the transformation in my mindset. And when I quit, I was scared to death because at that point, I had never quit anything in my life. Anything. And I'm sure as like an overachiever like yourself, you probably recognize that, in yourself. Like I was like 33 and I don't think I'd quit one thing in my life. And I'd done, all the band programs in high school. I played 2 varsity sports. I went and got an undergraduate degree, a master's, big career at General Motors, like I'd never quit anything. And I was really scared. I didn't know what to do. But once I quit, I figured out, hey, I didn't die. There's more to life out there. And so that's kind of always stuck with me since that experience, when I took other jobs or started thinking about the world and life, I wasn't as afraid to challenge the status quo or push back on certain bosses or think like, wait, I don't have to do this. Maybe there's something else out there. So that was probably the genesis of it.
That's a great transformation from unemployed to unemployable,
Yeah, right, exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, once your mind starts to shift,
Yeah.
you must know this, right?
Everything is here.
You never go back. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, it's pretty interesting,
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Jim, based on your years of experience and the transformations, what are the top 3 mistakes to avoid?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I'd say one was, thinking back early in my career, when I got out of school, I spent about 8 years in my first job from my first employer. And it was probably 3 or 4 years, maybe too long in my mind now thinking about it. And so to me, that was kind of a mistake. Like I wanted to move on. I should have probably moved on, but maybe I didn't have the confidence because again, it's sort of like, it's my first job. GM was a great company. Either I should have taken a new job within the company, like moved locations within the company, or just left earlier. And for some reason, I just didn't. And so like, because those are kind of pivotal careers when you have a lot of energy and do a lot of things. And it's like kind of staying in one place too long, I think is one. And once I moved to the East Coast, another one was, which this really kind of bummed me out, but nothing I can do about it now, is once I quit that job, I was in Connecticut initially. And I had already had a feel for the East Coast and I was getting to know myself a little bit better. The next job I took, I felt I wanted to stay on the East Coast because I was just starting to make new friends and stuff out there, but I should have moved west because I'm more of I was raised in the Midwest. I'm more of a laid back kind of dude, just chill guy. And I ended up moving to Boston, and Boston's like the exact opposite of that. I don't know if you ever spent any time up there, but it's like very intense and crowded and expensive. And it's just like, and at that time, the business was just crazy. So it wasn't for me. And that's why I ended up moving when 9/11 happened, everybody got laid off. I ended up moving out of there.
If you have to put like a headline, what's that mistake?
The mistake is not having the confidence or not knowing that, what, I knew myself. I knew I probably shouldn't be there, but I felt like I didn't have the confidence to move on so quickly again. You know what I mean? Like I just moved there. I was still slow. Like I was slow to move from my first job. And I was slow getting that, like, hey, I got these inputs. The inputs were telling me to do something else, but I was still slow at recognizing, like, I felt like I needed to stay there for another few years. And that was another bad move.
One more mistake.
One more was, okay. So once I figured all this out, I started like growing my mindset and figured everything out. And I started like, I'm not going back to the regular job. I started consulting. This is a funny story. So I really would just quit my job, my last job. I had nothing else to do. Somebody called me on a Thursday morning, said, hey, what are you doing right now? And I was literally doing nothing. I thought he was joking. I'm like, I'm not doing anything, just sitting on my couch. What are you doing? And what he was asking me was, where are you working right now? Are you consulting? What are you doing? I'm like, I had no idea who this guy was. Anyways, he says, like, come here and talk to me tomorrow if you're available on a Friday. I'm like, oh, sure. So it ends up being a corporate headquarters of one of the big industrial manufacturers around here in Cleveland. And he wanted me to look at his project that he was doing. And I kind of ripped it apart, kind of ripped it to shreds because it was like complete nonsense to me. But he must have believed what I was telling him. So he's like, wanted to hire me on the spot. He's like, you're the guy, we need you, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing right now? Are you consulting? Are you doing this? And I had no vision of doing anything because I just quit my job. And I said, that's it. I'm consulting. Sure, I'm a consultant. I'm a consultant. And so, but the mistake was I had no idea what my value was. Okay. And so he's like, well, give me a number next week and I'd like to have you start Tuesday. I'm like, okay. So I came up with a number to tell him like the hourly rate, whatever I wanted to charge. And the number was so low. This is how pathetic I was. It was so low that when he heard the number, he was like, oh, okay. So that means that's the number to you, like after taxes and everything, right? That's the number you want to take home. I'm like, yeah. And like right then I realized my mistake. I'm like, yeah, of course, And then I had time to do more research and figure this thing out. I had no idea how I undervalued myself. And then this project lasted for about 10 years because it was a big R&D project. And I must have raised my price like 4 or 5 times while I was there, because I kept figuring out, like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that I'm worth this much. So that was like really a revelation to me. As an entrepreneur, you kind of figure you have to just stumble into these things and figure it out,
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts, not knowing.
Yeah, it does. Oh my God, I was just like, what was I thinking? I still laugh at myself about it. I'm like,
yeah.
pathetic.
Okay, you have a very interesting story. Moved in different places where you're not expecting. You kind of put on the spot and just say,
Right.
let me figure it out. So,
Right.
do you mind sharing your greatest failure of your life in a business world, not personal? And
wow.
what did you learn from that, and how did you recover from that?
Well, maybe I'm trying to think about this. I don't know if, when you think about failures, there's always like a silver lining. So it's hard to like just call something an actual failure. But one of the things, when I quit my last job, the company was like really kind of weirdly dysfunctional. I was becoming part of I convinced them to be part of their management team. So I was like, you guys don't really know what you're doing here. I have this experience. I can help you. And they made me a marketing manager and whatever, and reporting to the VP of marketing sales, because like I had this vision of like, this is where the company needs to go. Like, you're not moving fast enough. You need these kind of structure. You need these and I really did know. But the mistake was, like, I just didn't understand that this company is completely dysfunctional. The board of directors was dysfunctional. Like, I believed, or maybe I was just wanted to believe, I was in fantasy land, that I could, as one person, make this massive kind of impact on my own. And the reality was, once I got placed in this job, everyone else in the company was thinking I was the biggest jerk that they ever met in my life. It was like night and day. Previous day, I was like a cool project manager, and I was in this group, whatever. As soon as I got that job, this guy's a jerk. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I was just like, it was insane. So that's what made me quit. I was just like, you know what, my life's too short to deal with this stuff. And I felt like I really failed, because it was like, oh man, I really could have helped this company. I could have really made a difference, but it just didn't work out. So I don't know. And I was really like dejected afterward. That's why I didn't want to take a job. I didn't know what I was going to do.
So Jim, what did you learn from that?
I guess I learned that I don't know. I guess I have to learn really that, when people show you who they are, that's who they are. It's not about what they say or whatever. It's like they're showing you who they are all the time. The company had been showing me who they were. I knew it was completely screwed up, but I believed somehow I was going to have this massive impact on it. But you have to kind of understand that organizations are bigger, and they're these organic things of their own, and you can have a limited impact, but it was tough. But that's what led me to being on my own and being an entrepreneur and whatever. It was such a bad experience. I didn't want to go back to that,
How did you recover from that situation?
Well, that's a good question. What I did was, I just wanted to put space in my life, is really what helped me out. And, it's like, I don't want to take another job. And I play music on the side. It's one of my passions. I'm trying to play more music these days. But I wanted to play more music, because like I had spent a lot of time on my career and a lot of time moving around and stuff. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to play music for a little bit. And I was really thinking about just taking a year off and not doing anything. And really that's what led really to my other success and being able to live a life that I more want to live now. So it allowed me to look at my finances and realize, oh my God, I'm a good investor, because I'm a technology guy. Like, I see what's evolving, what's valuable. Like, developing advanced technologies, it's all about trying to understand the market fit, what the technology's capacity is, right? These are all things that make you a great investor. I really didn't understand it about myself, right? So it allowed me to do that. It gave me time to think, and like, what kind of lifestyle do I really want, and what will make it happen? And so I just started to make it happen, honestly, just with my finances, with consulting, with everything I was doing. And like, once you sort of have this, vision in mind, this is the thing. If you have this vision, then you can reverse engineer how to get there, right? But if you never have a vision, you're just kind of running around. Like you're like previous to my life, all the educational part, all the social part, whatever, it was running me. Like I thought I needed to do this stuff because I have this advanced degree and I have this, like that system was pulling you. I wasn't in charge. Now I'm in charge. I'm running the train now,
That's a wonderful, great recovery.
Yeah. Well, recovery is the right word.
Yeah, it's a great recovery, Jim. So let's talk about your successes. So what are the top 3 success secrets of your whole life episode?
Okay. Wow. Well, okay. So I think quitting my job was really one. Quitting my first job.
Let me rephrase the question. What are your top 3 success secrets what others can model from and actually implement themselves?
Okay. Well, let's see. So I think the space thing is really important. So like maybe meditation. So things I discovered when I took time to like really assess what was going on and try to figure this out. I discovered meditation. So I think that is a big key for people. So not everyone can quit their job, right? Not everyone can do these crazy things that I was able to do. But everybody has time to meditate, and like that can kind of provide the same thing in a way, where it's like it's really like if you quiet down and listen. So like when I meditate, I tell people that I just quiet down and I try to listen. So when you're listening, it kind of helps you put all those other thoughts in your mind away because you're listening. What am I listening for? Well, when you listen, you'll understand what you're listening for. like the clarity will come to you, right? Yeah. Because you're quieting your mind down. Mm-hmm. So meditation is a good tool that I use, and that helps like the visioning part. Like understand like where do you want to go in life? Like when you start imagining it and picturing it, your brain has a way of figuring out how to get you there. So that's kind of that's been a key.
That's your one secret of success. Give us 2. We are greedy.
Greedy. Okay. Well, okay. What else? I think working harder. So that's been a secret of mine. So whenever I get frustrated and whenever I feel like I'm failing, I think people lash out or they come up with excuses or whatever. And I just remind myself, I must not be working hard enough. Like I have to go back and like get back in that mode of like when I was in school or when I was really like, working hard at GM or whatever. Because like as an entrepreneur, you're in control of your time, right? And so it's a challenge to keep yourself, motivated and to do the right things. So when I know that I'm failing or I know that I'm screwing up, one of the things that always helped me is just like, I got to get back in grind mode. I got to get back in grind mode.
Yeah. Wonderful. So one more.
Yeah. One more. Okay. Let me think what else. I'll tell you what, another one, this is good. I'm glad you asked me this. So you're forcing me to think about these things. Another one is collaboration. So, and I especially have learned this with the podcast. So one of the things I like to do, obviously my podcast, I have JimJim's Reinvention Revolution. I have guests on, I do interviews similar like this, and I try to pick their brain about how they're thinking about the world and how they're leaning into technology and how they're reinventing themselves. And so collaborating on the show, but also behind the scenes. So once we get to know each other, that's really been fruitful for me in terms of learning from them. Maybe they can provide some service to me or I can provide some service to them. So collaboration, especially now because the whole population of the planet, it feels like, is at our fingertips right now. Yeah. And you can reach out to someone and they can reach out to you and you can really grow your mind and grow your vision very quickly now, like geometrically quickly.
Yeah, we are collaborating right now on this
right
show.
Now.
So we are getting to know each other better, basically. And this COVID vaccine is the world's largest collaboration effort.
Right. That's right.
Scientists are every color and every country, even though they don't like each other. That's why the scientists are working together. You don't have to like the person to collaborate. That's the key part.
That's right. That's right. Well, like I tell people now, like life is not linear. So some people think, you have to go through this sort of linear, gradual thing, and that, well, you need 10 years of experience, and then you need 15 years of experience to do this, and it's like, the world's never really been like that, but now it's clear that it's not like that. And
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? When you focus on something,
Mhm.
you can really get it done because you have all this information and resources now that you can grab in a heartbeat. It's
So
awesome.
Jim, we are about almost out of time. However, we
Okay.
need to cover a few more things. Let's just get to it quick. How the
Okay.
people who are watching this right now can support you?
Okay. Well, so for the podcast, I'm always looking for great guests for the podcast of people
That's
that are.
me. That's me.
Okay. Well, Siddique, we'll talk, man. We'll talk. Okay. So people that are pivoting and reinventing themselves, but demonstrating for others out there how to pivot or what to pivot into, right? In terms of technology or embracing these things. So, people that are, I like to figure out like what's going on in the electric vehicle world or in the blockchain world, the NFTs that just, got created, or, the AI and the automation world. I mean, there's so many things going on there. So if you're a cool person who has some information out there about that, that would be great. A great way to support me would be just check it out. And also, if you're interested in pivoting or reinventing yourself, I put together a priming guide. Okay, so it's 7 easy steps, seven simple steps to prime your mind, to prime yourself for reinvention, which your mind always gets in the way, when it comes to these things. So I have a priming guide on my website if you're interested, and that might help you. So that's just a free gift,
JimJim's reinventionrevolution.com. Very simple. And again, JIMS
right.
ReinventionRevolution.com. Now I'm tired. This
I
is
know, it's a long website. That's another one of my mistakes. I'm sorry, Siddique.
Okay.
It's too long.
So reason I spell it out because many people are actually walking in gyms, like they are in a gym or something. They can actually,
Right.
print it in their mind, but how they
got
check it. JimJim's reinventionrevolution.com. Thank you so much. And I like to have this is my favorite question, which I ask almost every guest. What would you say about your today's guest experience on a Growth Hacking Secret Show?
Oh, I loved it, man. Thanks for reaching out to me, Siddique. It's really cool. I think this is one of the most powerful ways right now to kind of be in the world is to collaborate and share stories and to help others along their own journey. So thank you for helping me along my journey. And it was just great to connect with you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. Jim, what would you say as a final word?
Final word is, just get out there and embrace the world and embrace reinvention, because we know it's not stopping. We know technology is not stopping. So get out there and just try something new, that helps your mind.
Yeah, to embrace the world, you have to start with you. Embrace yourself first, because we do not embrace ourselves. Reinventing is understanding. Embrace yourself. Thank you so much, Jim, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.